Hello, BookTube. It's Wednesday, and I'm here with a mini mail haul. On Monday, I had a card put in the letterbox to say that there was two packages that couldn't be delivered. I was here, but the landlord has decided to put in a doorbell, but he's got one of the ringers up on the top floor, can't hear it. One in the kitchen, can't hear it, and generally they knock so lightly that you can't hear it. The noise from the street just blocks everything out. So I have to be very, very careful. So I asked for a redelivery today. I was hoping there was two things, actual packages that I've been hoping for. Something from the U.S., which hopefully it'll come here soon, and I'll open it actually on screen. Um, but and then there was another one. I think it was last week. I reread Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller Jr. and I thoroughly loved it. And I thought I'd say, I wonder if somebody has ever made a film or a TV series of it, and or a radio series. Um, and I found out that the BBC in 1993 filmed the first two parts of the novel. I'm not sure why, and I've never seen it, never heard of it. But also, NPR, the National Public Radio in the States, did a 15-part radio drama in, I think it was 1981 or the very early 80s, at the very least. I never heard that either. The radio program is up on YouTube, which I'm gonna get listening to it at some point. Um, and I don't know about the BBC 90-minute TV special. I haven't looked for that. I kind of doubt it will be because it's BBC and it's sort of copyrighted. Well, a lot of the stuff is, but some things slip through the net. But anyway, also while I was doing that, I discovered that there was a sequel. Walter M. Miller, before he died, was working on, um, a sequel, and he died in 1996, and the book was unfinished. However, it was published in 1997, and I am not sure who edited it. Doesn't really say. It's by Orbit Books. This is a first edition. Um, I think Terry Bisson. Don't know who he is. It says he was the editor of this, but apparently he finished it. Like he put an ending to it. And it's called St. Leibowitz and the Wild Horsewoman. And I don't have high hopes for it, but who knows? And I just thought I'd look, mainly because I figured I'd just be putting it into my wish list to then buy it later. However, I decided to check on eBay, and somebody was selling a copy for £3.99, including shipping, and it said as new hardcover. I was expecting a paperback, ex library paperback at that, but I figured, okay, well, it was a lot cheaper than I could get the paperback, regardless, from Amazon or anywhere else. So I figured I'd take a chance. Well, it came today, and it's fine. It's a new copy basically. It's don't even think it's been read. If it has, it's been read very, very gently. It's got a uh, mylar cover on it. Don't think it's one of the acid-free ones. Most booksellers don't use the acid-free archival ones, just because they're a few pennies more. Anyway, there's a few wrinkles in the dust jacket at the bottom here, a few creases, but it's perfectly fine for $3.99. I can't complain. It says recommended retail price was $16.99 in 1997. So I'm looking forward to this. It's Well, it says here. It's in the midst of of a. Let me start this again. In the midst of a post-nuclear dark age, the Catholic Church, riven by internal strife, is still involved in a bitter power struggle with the temporal leaders of the devastated USA. Brother Blacktooth, St. George, one of the monks of the Order of Leibowitz, a man losing his vocation, is taken up by the charismatic Cardinal Elia Brownpony. Brownpony is working tirelessly and clandestinely for the final victory of the church, and Blacktooth finds himself swept along by events and by his own turbulent emotions as the church embarks on the ultimate crusade. We'll see, because as I say, it should be a fun read. I'm not going to do it immediately. It's just a smidgen over 400 pages, so it's it is slightly bigger. I think it's a bit bigger than the original, which is a novel, but it was a pieced together novel from longer short stories, 4 of them, I think. I'm not sure the editorial process with that, but a lot of times that did happen with a lot of science fiction. 2 that come to mind is Isaac Asimov's Foundation. The Foundation series, they were done in short stories and then put together in book form. I think he lengthened and tweaked them a little bit so they'd work together better. The other one that comes to mind is City by Clifford D. Simak, and that was short stories, and they were put together and first published. Well, they were both Gnome Press. Was 1953, I think it was, City, and somewhere around that 51 or so was Foundation. But the City was there was supplementary material to link the stories, sort of a fictitious editor linking the stories. So it sort of runs a narrative. They're all connected, and it was a common thing to connect short stories, and so forth. So it was nothing out of the normal. But in other words, this would have been his first novel. This one here, the Saint Leibowitz and the Wild Horseman, Horsewoman. And it would have been it was designed as a novel rather than anything else. So he's written I think 40 some short stories as well. So not a huge output by any means. And I've read a few of his short stories that I do want to get there. Like it mentions the 2 collections, but I think there was a best of or collected short stories. I think that more or less had everything of Miller, so I'd like to get that, and then and it's very easy to read everything he's done. The other thing that came was a periodical. It's the Ancient Egypt magazine, May and June. It's a bit late. Well, not too late, I guess, but they're like when I became redundant, when I was made redundant at the end of last year, I canceled all my subscriptions that I was paying sort of quarterly or whatever, or bi-yearly on, and yearly as well. But I had already paid for a year of a lot of the science fiction. For a lot of the archaeology magazines, and there's a number of archaeology. There's Current Archaeology and Archaeology Today. I think is it Archaeology Today. Current archaeology. Oh no, there's Current Archaeology and then Current World Archaeology, Ancient Egypt, and then the American Archaeology magazine. That I had paid for 2, and I think I've only received 1, if I'm lucky, 2 issues of it. It's just anything coming from the U.S. just seems to take forever or doesn't appear, especially in magazines. I also should be getting something called Ancient History as well that I paid for a year. Yeah, there's a few things, as I say, that I am still getting, but I won't be reading this anytime soon because I'm still having trouble. I've been reading or trying to read the little booklets that come with the Blu-rays, and I struggle. I'm struggling for some reason, and then I picked up there was picked up a week or so ago Virginia Woolf essays, and there was one that she did 1923, I think it was, called The Film, or On Film anyway. I read it and it's very short, and I go, "What you talking about?" I don't know. My brain is just not connecting, and I just never had this problem before. I'm still hoping that it'll come back. I keep trying. Best I can do is fiction, and I'm struggling sometimes with that. But anyway, that's another story. You don't need to know about that. But yeah. So two things in the post: ancient Egypt and the sequel to Canticle for Leibowitz, Saint Leibowitz, and The Wild Horsewoman. So I'll leave you there, BookTube, and I'll get back to my reading. I've started the Some Must Watch, which is the basis for the film with Dorothy McGuire, I think, yeah, The Spiral Staircase. So that'll be Fridays. I'm running slow this week on reading. I should have actually finished that one by now, but I'm running slow. But anyway, take care, BookTube. I hope everything's well, and I probably won't see you until Friday reads. So take care, everybody.